starting all over again.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
That end.
there it is.
to that.
Hey, dual screen. How's it going, Jeff?
Dueling screens.
Dueling screens.
I love the
Dueling.
ending music to that,
Yeah,
where it's
I
like
do too.
almost feels like the beginning of a yacht rock song.
A yacht rock. I saw something the other day while I was driving around someplace that was like having a yacht rock party, and I was like, "What the f is that?
Oh no,
What is yacht rock?"
it's like Alan Parsons Project,
Oh,
Toto.
oh God,
Like yeah,
God.
like it was all like kind of like some, Steely Dan, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, that kind of
so just
stuff.
terrible music, right?
Eh, it's not
Really?
terrible music.
Ah,
It's light
ah.
and airy.
I could live without Alan Parsons' project. Alan Parsons and his project. I could also live without, what was the other one you mentioned?
Oh, Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
You don't like Donald Fagen?
Oh God. No, I don't like Donald Fagen.
Thank God.
I had a bad experience with Donald Fagen in 1973. I was 4, and he wronged me.
No.
Yeah, he talked shit about me when I was 4, so I had him banned from the club.
I see.
Because when I was 4, it was the early 70s, and I was bartending in New York.
Right.
That's a story for another day. So speaking of weird, I think we're going to be talking about branding that's weird branding, making it work in your branding. And there's a couple of things that are important to mention here. When I say weird branding, I don't just mean like aesthetically weird or being bizarre. I mean that, but I also mean looking at your industry, your category, and then seeing what everybody else is doing and doing the opposite, doing something different. So weird, maybe you could replace the word with different, but I think still different isn't strong enough. Weird, that seems
unexpected, maybe. That might
unexpected, exactly. Safe brands, I think safe branding is invisible. We've gone through this multiple times with different clients and in different spaces. I get it, don't you? I mean, bank branding is, doesn't lend itself to a lot of weirdness, I suppose. But like at the same time, it becomes so safe, it's just non-existent.
Absolutely.
And so I think when I look at let's say any business or brand, let's say a bank, when you continuously do what everyone else is doing, or just try to like do a knockoff of somebody else, or keep it so that the CEO, he's not comfortable. We want to make him like it. I go, you're failing your audience, you're failing your customers, you're failing everyone, you're failing yourself, because if you're not willing to do anything different, why should people take that moment out of their scroll to notice you, right?
Right. Everybody has free checking.
Yeah, right, of course. So we're going to dive into how weird works. We're going to talk about why businesses need more of it now than ever. And we've got a great guest today. He is the overlay kid, the weirdo overlay kid. His name's Chris. He's the founder at Get Optimized. And ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, because we're going to bring his ass into the studio. Here we go.
What's up, dudes?
Yay.
What's up, dude? How's it going, man?
It's going well, man. It's going well. You getting through the week, having fun?
I love it. Yeah. And you have got a super powerful prescription frames game.
Thank you.
I like it.
I love your diction, man. That was
I know, right? I almost didn't. I almost tripped and fell down trying to spit that out. So we're going to get into the whole thing. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about who you are? We've got Rod Christensen in the house, John Luganbill, Nakisha Daly, plus a whole scat of other people, and hopefully they'll have questions today. We've also got another guest appearance from Mr. Robert Cogan from up in the Great White North. We'll be bringing him on in just a few. So tell us a little bit about Chris Overlay and Get Optimized.
Yeah, sure. So I am Chris Overlay. Founded Get Optimized a few years ago because I wanted to start an agency in the craft beer space, and we have evolved a bit since then. Now we kind of opened our lens to more like craft beverage, really kind of alcohol, but thinking like RTDs, beer, cannabis, a bit too, maybe a bit of coffee as we evolve as well. But I've been doing marketing for gosh, over 12 years now. I started when I was in college, had like a startup back then. I went to school for marketing. And from college, I ran the startup for a little while in kind of the travel VIP kind of world for like big music festivals and dealing with, DJs and artists and all that stuff. And then worked my way into agencies and have worked for agencies, done freelance for a long time, a lot of digital marketing stuff. So
Mhm.
ads, email, websites, that kind of thing for the last decade plus. And yeah, man, I love what I do. I really, like I said, I went to school for marketing, so I knew for a long time I wanted to do this, and it's the best, man. I mean, you pick what you want to do for a career, and I'm happy enough with it, and I love helping businesses grow and figure this stuff out. So yeah, man, it's a bit of flavor for me.
Awesome.
Nice.
I love it. And where are you located right now?
I am in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Ooh, I've heard of it.
Oh,
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you're in Vegas, everybody knows each other, right?
No,
You all know each other, right?
no. I think it's Vegas used to be a smaller town. You used to be able to get across town in like 15 minutes, when I
Mm.
was in high school and stuff. And we've grown quite a bit. I think the Clark County area is like coming up on 3 million here in
wow.
the city. And yeah, there's multiple neighborhoods now. We got sports teams, we're more than just the casinos. We don't
Yeah,
all
and
live in
F1.
hotels, guys.
F1
That's
you
right.
have. Yeah.
That's right. How are
Oh,
the Raiders looking out there this year? Are they still there? Did
Oh,
they
blessedly not good. I'm a Denver Broncos fan, so the best
Oh,
thing about the Raiders coming to town was that the Broncos play here once a year, which is nice. But the Raiders, it's fine. They partake in the community. We're more of the Golden Knights fans, we're big hockey fans here in town. So
okay.
that's our team of choice here locally.
Right
Chris,
on.
tell me this, Chris. Does it really stay in Las Vegas?
Uh,
Mm.
yeah, right. You
Mm.
know, I think whatever happens here ends up on your background checks.
Right,
So be
right, right.
careful.
So if you're a defense contractor, that sort of a thing, and then if we're going to talk weird, well, I'm just going to throw out there the hitchhiker effect. Uh, so you're right out there by not far from Bigelow. Bigelow Aerospace is right in town, and he used to be the previous owner of what is known was the Sherman Ranch, became the Skinwalker Ranch, and
Oh,
now it's owned
yes.
by Brandon Bugle. And there's that whole like whatever goes on out there. Some people go out to study scientific data, and they go home with a little something extra they didn't plan on. Anyway,
The alien thing is relevant. Alien and nuclear weapons, because they were doing the
Right.
tests up in the middle of Nevada, and we're not, that far from Area 51. Really, it's a couple
Yeah.
hours outside of town, and there are people, that work out there. They take a jet out to
yeah,
Area
EG&G.
51, and it's a real place. I was just watching the documentary on Netflix about like you guys remember the Storm Area 51 thing?
Yeah.
That was nuts, and then all of a sudden it died out and they did the documentary on it. It was really funny to hear people talk about this, and I remember seeing it here in town. It's like, oh yeah, dude, this is never going to work, and it ended up never working. It was a disaster, but yeah, it's all out here.
Oh my goodness. And if honestly, with the amount of coverage and the fact that spot in particular is so well known now, they're not keeping any goodies there. The goodies are somewhere else, so.
Well,
Anyway.
I got a lot of armed personnel to not be keeping any goodies out there.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So, yeah, let's get a little bit more into the branding side of our weirdness. And I know that, there's probably multiple red flags popping up on a government computer right now after you laid into that.
They're going to take us down.
Keep an eye out your front window. See if there's a unmarked black van pulling up any minute now. So what are we talking about? We're talking about, looking into missing hiker Kenny Vitek. Yeah, not pronouncing the name right, but dead on, Rod. We're going to have to do another show about weirdness, only it's going to have nothing to do with branding. Okay. We're going to take on the Joe Rogan.
We'll talk about radioactive shrimp.
Yeah, there you go. So what about weird, man? What do you guys think weird really means? I mentioned a little bit in the beginning about how I feel about what weird actually means when talking about branding. We're going to frame it as maybe a strategic differentiation, if you will, not just random weirdness, like the although it was a great spot, the Hanson brothers, or was it the I don't know who they were.
Brothers, yeah.
not the hockey guys,
Oh,
the guys that did the
The
squatty
unicorn
potty.
poop?
The
oh,
squatty
Squatty Potty. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty weird, but that's weird in its like legitimate weirdness way. What do you guys think about weird actually meaning in terms of branding and messaging?
Yeah, I can jump in, or Jeff, if you want to jump in
No,
first.
go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this, and I think you're pretty spot on with your intro there. It's differentiation, it's being risky, creative, thought provoking. But I'll kind of flip it on its head. I think that weird is also a way to signal that you belong. And hear me out with what I'm saying with this is that think about like why the Stranger Things kids form such a tight bond in that show. I know it's a fictional show, or you can think of
Is
other
it?
like Harry Potter or whatever. But like it's because they shared through their connection of weirdness. They're all weird together and they form their own tribe. So
Mhm.
I kind of look at weird as like a tribe and signaling to your tribe that, hey, I'm weird too. And we can be weird together,
Mhm.
So it's a signaling technique, I think, in a way.
I think that's a fascinating look at it. Honestly, I didn't see that at all, but I agree with it 100%. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, just to carry that from what Chris said forward, so to speak, is that I think that's part of the thing is that you build a community around sort of what your lane is, right? Um, and it almost introduces that lane to other other people outside of it, which is which is weird, right? But it does happen. It's not like they become part of that community, but they can somehow dig it. Like they think they can not identify with it, but more so go along with it. And I think you see that, and the obvious one was like Liquid Death. I don't think people necessarily are part of that crowd that buys Liquid Death. I think they just think it's funny or cool or whatever take they have, but they're not into like that scary monster death thing. They're just they're just either picking it up because it's humorous or because they think it's a cool idea.
Okay.
People want to be part of the weird group. I don't know when this happened,
Mm,
in pop culture, but like being the weird kids all of a sudden became the cool thing, and being the first in that group and saying, yeah, I was there before it was cool.
right.
I think there's some like I don't know what it is in human behavior is why we want that, but same kind of thing with a Liquid Death. It's like, oh man, I liked this water before, it was such a huge thing, and I was like one of the guys that was like early buy before this thing was even available. I did the pre-order. I had to wait like 8 months to get my first Liquid Death cans. And now it's such a big thing that I'm almost like, I kind of, yeah, Liquid Death is the cool
It's
kid thing.
expensive water.
Yes.
It's cool, but now everybody is in on it. So is it really that
But
cool
for,
anymore? I
yeah,
don't know.
but for me, it's not necessarily about the water. It's like I'm always interested in what's the next partnership that they're going to have,
Mhm.
or the next like product. Like they had a coffin at one point, right? So it's it's just so outrageous that I'm a fan of it because it's outrageous and that it's different. And it's not necessarily the water tastes better than anything else. It's just that it's to me it's interesting.
Mhm. They got to constantly keep like one upping themselves too. It's like they do something crazy, and then it's like, okay, how do we do something different and crazy and weird
Yes.
again? And what an because they keep doing it. Like they just did the thing with the Toxic Avenger, which is pretty good in terms of their content and an amazing brand partnership. And it's like, man, you guys got a good machine for cranking this stuff out. How long can you keep it going? Because you're doing a good job. Let's keep it up. I'm with you. I'm in support of what they do on that front, but it's got to be a challenge internally to keep
It
doing that.
is. Yeah, must
Yeah.
be.
Well, I think it is, but it's also part of having a good group of supporters and team members that feel open enough and confident enough to voice those risky opinions or thoughts or creative ideations. I think that's important for me. I look at it and I go, I could be weird all day, every damn day, nonstop. But like, the reality is that not everybody's up for it. And at some point, as we were saying, some point that, you jump the shark at some point, maybe, weird becomes the new norm. And then where do we go? Back to, you know, polo shirts, pop collars, and James Spader. You know, what's the next? What would possibly be the next level here?
Right.
It's the challenge is to figure out what that
Yeah.
is. And there's folks that are really good at it, you know, in creative thinking and figuring out what's funny. And you know, figuring this stuff out is part art, part science, you know.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got some good comments coming in too. And anybody that has a question, feel free. We've got weirdness is a way for Robert Unger to differentiate in sales. Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And it can, yeah, I agree with everything he's saying. It's up on the screen. Melissa Rullman. Hey, Melissa, if I may, Melissa, if I may abbrev. She's saying perhaps mystique is another word.
Steve.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's also, again, it goes back to like, you can be weird, you can be odd, you can be different. There's a part, and we're going to talk about that when we do a little bit of show and tell, because I know we got some of that coming along, about, you know, taking ownership of a narrower group of people instead of a big, wide path to everyone that's really actually going to be uphill most of the way and a very long path. Some brands tend to go, look, we're going to identify and target or just, you know, align ourselves to a smaller minority group of people. And it's a shorter path, it's a narrower path, but then you own that space. And there's something important, whether it's owning a color, owning a voice, owning a style, same like with a band, you know? And I often talk about branding like a band. And I think that's part of it is, you know, you have all this music that comes along, comes, goes, it's great, it's not, there's periods of downtime. Then, you know, you've got like, I don't know, you go through the metal years, you get, oh, hey, look, Jeff's already.
Sorry. I went ahead.
But yeah, I was going to say, you know, you get like your Nirvana comes out of nowhere and all of a sudden the world's on its ear and nobody knows what to do. Next thing you know, you got everybody thinks they want to be like Nirvana and suddenly it's all boring again. And you know, so these things kind of come and go, they ebb and flow. What do you think is the worst failure in safe? Like playing it safe, what's the biggest detriment a brand has to come to terms with when they play it safe? Jeff, Chris?
I was gonna throw out first that if anybody is able to say bland brand 5 times fast,
Ooh.
I think that would be a good challenge, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, well, I would say, Jeff, even if they want to type it 5 times fast, go for it.
Bland brand. I certainly can't do that.
Bland brand.
Oh,
How about
that's-
bland,
that's-
planned brand? Bland, planned.
You couldn't even get that out once.
Yeah, I can't.
Bland
Red
brand.
leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Right. So, but here's the thing, right? It's kind of like it's on a creative side, but it's also on a marketing side, on a strategy side, right? Because again, there's a lot of people that look at things as sort of cookie cutter. They look at it like, well, it worked for them, so it's going to work for me. Well, it doesn't work like that. That isn't reality. So carving out your own space, so to speak, requires the creativity and thought that goes beyond like what is right in front of you. And I kind of brought this up too quickly, but I'm going to bring it up now, which is this is a good example for me in terms of like, you know, how that works. So one thing I know about OG Red Bull, right? So the one thing is that they came out with this brand. It's 2 bulls, right? It's 2 bulls. It would have been easy for them just to say, let's do a bull ad. But no, they said gives you wings, and they had this silly illustration going on and animation. And that has nothing to do with bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's just what's obvious. It's just what's right in front of you. And this isn't obvious. And I think that's why it works, because it's sort of like these 2 things don't go together. And then you're like, oh, what's this? This is interesting. Like, what does this have to do with Red Bull?
Right.
Right. And so I think it's that kind of creativity and thinking that really makes a brand not be bland.
Yeah. I would also guarantee, Jeff, that some C-level executive looked at this and went, well, wait a minute now. The product's called Red Bull. But
There's no bull in it.
There's
The
no bull.
logo has two bulls in it, so it's plural bulls. Why isn't it Red Bulls? Maybe we should redo that. Have the agency do that again.
Why isn't there red? Why
Why
isn't
isn't
it
it
all
red?
red? The
Yeah.
whole
I,
thing
I
should be
mean, there's
red.
always something. Chris, what do you think, in terms of that kind of design of creative? Is it, because what are you going to do? Keep reiterating and reanimating a logo, or are you going to tell a different story and let the logo live on its own?
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point that there's a difference between your logo and then your message. And your message can be timely, it can be relevant to the situation and pop culture. And I think that's part of what we're talking about here is being relevant to what's going on right now. And that is separate than, hey, we've built this logo, this brand name, and being okay to and having the courage to do something different and relevant to the times is challenging, especially with a big organization. And you have to, I imagine this is why it's so challenging sometimes, especially with a big brand like Red Bull or
Mm-hmm.
Bud Light or something like that, where you've got a base and you're like, yeah, we really like our base. We don't want to alienate that base because we did something too risky or too off the wall, and then it backfires in our face. We lose market share because of it. It's a difficult challenge to walk through, and you
Mhm.
have to have some courage. And also, hey, maybe don't do something that's blatantly bad. And I think people are forgiving of that stuff for the most part, as long as you don't do something that fits into one of the bad buckets, like we did something racist or sexist or something like that. It's like, okay, don't do those things. As
Oh
long as you don't
God.
do the bad stuff, then maybe we can have a little bit of fun and be that way. And I think more brands really do need that, is to be a little bit more courageous, especially those ones that have been around for a long time. Like, I was thinking about Starbucks, in leading up to this call, and like they're suffering from some of that issue of
Mm.
they're kind of losing some market share. We think about Starbucks and what that is as a brand. It's kind of like your mom's coffee place, and they're up against brands like Dunkin' that does weird stuff all the time. I
Right.
don't know if you guys have Dutch Bros out there on the East Coast, but Dutch Bros is massively popular on the West Coast. They are growing like crazy, and their
Mm.
brand is very weird, very funky, very young in
Mhm.
their direction. And like there are more Dutch Bros opening up around over here than
Interesting.
there are Starbucks. And
Mm.
if you're Starbucks, you're kind of caught in this role like, well, we don't want to lose who our customer is, but we're also losing because we're not gaining market share. And kind of come back to your original question about like why I say fails. I think because market segments are shifting, and the growth for a business oftentimes is in a new market segment. So if you are being safe, you're just relying on your market segment to either
Mm.
sustain you, or hopefully that segment grows without focusing on bringing on new market segments, which requires you to have a different message, to do something maybe weird and creative. And that's the risk, is that you're
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
attacking new, right?
I mean,
Mhm.
the market segment part of it is, it's interesting. I always look at car companies. Like, I always feel like they have a good handle on understanding the different markets that they serve. Okay. And the reason is because when they're marketing, when they're marketing an SUV, it's like family, right? So that's who they're marketing to. That they know who the target is, and those ads are appropriate for family. Talk about safety, all this stuff. And then, if they have a sport model, let's say the Corvette, or Corvette doesn't do do any marketing, they don't have to, but you know what I mean. Like, if let's say Toyota has a sport model, the Supra, it's a whole different vibe for those ads, and they're in different media outlets.
Right.
They're not talking about safety when they're talking about the Supra. The thing is a BMW. Like, why would they talk that way? And
Mhm.
I think they do a good job. And I think sometimes bigger brands make a mistake by doing something on a national level when they don't need to.
Right. Right. Hey, we got a couple of good comments.
Hmm.
The heavyweights founder over there, John Luganbill, said that the CEO is not the demographic target. The target needs to be intrigued, not the CEO, and that is absolutely 100% true. If more CEOs could sit down, take a course or some kind of a brain scan, or maybe we could just open their heads and rewire them a little bit to understand that, it would be easier. Yeah, that's perfect. And Rod Christensen is, first of all, we hope you're feeling better, Rod. He was under the weather, but he's also throwing around a lot of big words that are making me feel weird. But I get what he's saying here, that weird for the weird's sake can introduce a cognitive disconnect, and it increases the cognitive load. These are hard words to say. And it can make your brand lose its importance, and in a user's brain capacity. Weird needs to be relatable to be memorable. Yes. And I think that's true. I think there is a fine line between what is the line from Spinal Tap? There's a very fine line between clever and stupid. Right. And that's true here. Hey, by the way, before we get to anything safe in this conversation, we have got a guest who likes to pop in on this show, and we love having him in. We've got Mr. Robert Cogan up from the Great White North. I'm going to bring him in here, and let's see if we can get him. There he is. He's all right. Robert, this is Chris. Chris, this is Robert, and you know the rest of us here. How's it going?
It's going pretty quickly. How you guys doing?
Good.
All good, man. So we're bringing you in to find out, we were talking a little bit about weird, safe, but also what I'm interested in is what the F is going on in your world today.
Yes.
I'm going to try to be quick, like it's a telex readout or something like that.
Yeah.
People think the sales are the tough part. It's the logistics, guys. Me and my buddy down at the warehouse, we not perfected because we still got some work to do. We do a lot of exporting and importing of beverages. So 2 liters don't like going more than 10 minutes on the truck. So we went from 1 out of every 5 trucks showing up spilled, which means it cost basically all the profit margin. And my biggest success is with my buddy down at the warehouse is getting the right air gun. It's actually a shop vac that works to fill up dunnage bags and get them into every load. So I remember when I was younger, I had a bit of a shooter dad, and I had a job at this cargo terminal that he was partners in. And the guy who was training me at my 6 a.m. shift that I had to do for a year or so, we were sitting on the dock. It's a U-shaped cargo terminal at a small airport called Toronto International. And he said, you think this is a cargo terminal? No, it's an overhead door center. Because when the overhead doors don't work, everything shuts down. Right. And if the logistics doesn't work, nothing happens. It doesn't matter how much you sold. And I'll segue right into what's not weird and normal, but weird when you compare it to the bullshit front that everybody puts up on LinkedIn and social media. I would say of the 10 brands that I'm working with right now, 6 of them went through a 30 to 60 day shutdown with no product, waiting for product.
Wow.
And that doesn't show up. I mean, look at, and Gavin is one of the guys that puts it right out there. Hey, Gavin, I wanted to order the berry to the house in Michigan. I love that Be Amazing Greens. Sorry, we're out of stock. You wouldn't have got it anyway. And, okay, so back to your question. What else is going on? There is some bleeped up weird shit going on here lately.
Okay.
I got so much I could talk about here, but to focus on yours own, Chris, does Flying Monkey resonate, that brand?
Not off the top of my head. Should I know what
Flying Monkey isn't it? Is it a beer?
Flying Monkey. Is it coming out of my butt? Is that
Chris?
The you're talking about the
brand
THC stuff?
No. Flying Monkey is a brand out of London, Ontario.
Okay.
It's everywhere. And if you go look at the packaging, you will get a good idea of where Beatbox got their ideas.
Oh.
So I'm just trying to zoom back into some of the topics you guys have been talking about. And I'm only the 5-minute guest. I don't want to get into conversations that are going to wind down for 10, 15 minutes, but I do have to dump some brainwaves. Guys, Liquid Death, it's not weird. It's not weird at all. It's a bunch of smart guys looking at what entertainment is getting the most ratings over the previous 10 years.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Liquid Death is a result of Vampire and Twilight and those types of TV shows, which has its own category. So, I don't know, paranormal fantasy, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
They did a video, Blair Witch Project style, to promote it, and it worked. And I don't want to leave this little 5-minute thing without paying homage to the Mr. Will Nitze, who most of us know because of his haiku style epitaphs he fucks our heads up with every goddamn morning. But Will came up with something really, really laser bullseye about 4 or 5 months ago. Taboo arbitrage. That's what Liquid Death does.
Okay. Taboo arbitrage.
And if there's any kids in the room listening, parents, that's at your own risk.
Yeah, that's on you.
The next weird shit that's going to be happening is polyamorous sexual relationships permeating our drugstore shelves. 20 years ago, the sex shelf was this wide. It's now this wide, and it's the whole shelf. Okay. That, I believe, fits right in with this taboo arbitrage. As the years go on, it's okay to talk about taboo topics. And the arbitrage thing, I love it because any brand, anybody in your business that's looking at getting a brand set up has to actually ask those questions that you guys are talking about. Forget what the CEO thinks. What does the market think? Pie chart it, and let's look at the slices and see what try to predict. It's just like gambling at the casino. And the arbitrage part I really love because that's what it is. All these brands are taking gambles. 10, 15 years ago, you go to a trade show and you don't notice any vaginal health booths. Now there's 15 of them, and there should be because it's a thing, and but we're all weird and we can't talk about it. Meanwhile, so what's weird is really you can look at it as we're being normal now and unweird, and I even think that, especially with your crazy grandpa over in Washington, you're getting closer to where racist undertones are going to be not weird anymore.
That'll be interesting. Now those are really good points, and when you mentioned the sex shelves, you got my attention. They have one in Walmart. I saw it, and I was like, in Walmart. Was it Walmart? No, not in Walmart. Walmart. Yeah, that's the one. That big superstore. I was like, dude. So I asked somebody, can you grab one of those things off the top shelf there for me? And they were like, yeah, you can reach it. I'm like, I really can't. Could you reach it for me? And they got it. And I was like, no, it's not this one. It's the other one. The one of the left. One of
the extra spicy variety.
And then once he got them all down, it was about 10 minutes into it. I was like, none of these are it. Never mind. I walked.
How come I didn't see this on YouTube?
I know.
On YouTube.
Who knows? I love it. Robert, thank you for joining us on that note. I really do appreciate it. And I was going to say, and we'll talk again, obviously, but I'm going to share on my screen that the flying monkey. Oh,
yes.
Which let me share it before you go. Make sure I'm not sharing the wrong one. And you're like, dude, no.
No, that's not it.
Right, exactly. Let me see here.
Flying Monkey Beverages, London, Ontario.
Let's see.
Oh,
yeah, I think I found it too.
Flying Monkey Craft Brewery.
It's flyingmonkeys.ca is there.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that's not it.
There you go. That's it.
Is this it?
yeah.
Well, it's quite.
they are monsters, and what's cool about it is Kathy and Bob, the founders and owners. I went to summer camp with Kathy Siskin since we were 8 years old, and really good friends with her cousins Lisa and Bram. Bob I met when we were at Western, which is London, Ontario, one of Canada's top universities. And do you see my point? You see where you see where Beatbox got their vibe from?
Absolutely. I was going to say one thing I would highly recommend here is that all these cans that you can see, the brightly colored cans and all that, I would say, you know what they should do? All that should be, let's see, like really wet, permanent ink. So when you get one and you put it in ice and it gets wet and cold, the ink just runs so that everybody that has one in their hand is instantaneously marked by the beast.
Liquid Death might want to do that with their cherry slaughter.
See, I was thinking
whatever.
The weirdness
I
never ends.
I was thinking something totally different. I was thinking of velvet Elvis paintings
Oh, okay.
that used to glow in the dark, and so
Okay.
you would have the cans. It would have the
Oh, that would be nice
same
too.
effect
That would be nice.
when
Hey,
dark.
Robert, go have a great rest of your day, buddy.
Oh,
Talk to you later, man. Everyone
Nice to meet
say
you,
hi to
Robert.
Robert. Say bye to Robert and connect with him
have a good
on
one.
LinkedIn if you haven't already.
Oh my
Okay.
god!
Hey, Chris.
Robert
right.
is a guy, man. What a dude.
He's great. He's got a lot of things going on. He's the guy to talk to if you're trying to get a product into Canada onto the shelves. He's your guy.
Yep.
So
So
let's we talked a lot about weird. What about safe? Let's talk about some of the things what is it about? What are the pitfalls of just playing it safe, just being in the middle? I mean, is it worse, honestly, guys? Is it worse to fade out from safeness or to just become invisible?
I mean, what's the difference? You know,
I was going to say fade out, because if you fade out, then you can kind of reboot and come back. If
Yeah.
you just become invisible, you're fucked. You're stuck.
yeah. I keep coming back to like the market segment thing in my mind with this is it depends on who your audience is, what they want, and like how consistent that audience can be for you. And if you're delivering what they want consistently and you're not losing sales and stuff, then great. And if you're okay with that as your primary customer base and you're making enough money, you're paying your people, you're good. Great, good for you. Congratulations. Just ride the wave for as long as you need. But if you're looking at your books and you got competitors popping in the market and you're saying, well, we're losing market share, we're losing sales, or we need to grow to be where I want, the business to be or what my goals are need to be, then you got to be thinking new market segments or, taking more of the market share of your current segment. And, being safe is you're going to have a hard road ahead of you to do that,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chris, I was gonna ask you too, like, do you see this where, this may not happen a lot with breweries, but they start off with D2C only, right?
Mhm.
And so you go to the website, everything, matches, it's all working, they're selling, they're growing their community on social. But then they're transitioning over to retail. And what happens is they get on retail and they're in the sea of whatever that's the same product, and they all look the same. And the problem is because on D2C, they're on, when people go to your website, you're only on your website. They're not seeing other products next to it. And so the experience has to kind of morph or change or evolve for retail, because if you go that route and you build that whole thing up and then you get to retail without thinking ahead, forward thinking in terms of what it's going to land like on retail, then you're kind of like, you have to kind of almost reinvent yourself.
Yeah. I think there's part of what you're alluding to there is your brand design and your can design. And yes, there's absolutely a differentiation that needs to happen so that you stand out on the shelf and at least capture someone's eyes. But like I think the other end of retail is like repeat buys and brand loyalty. And that comes from, obviously what's in the can. So you got to have a good product. And
Right.
some of that is differentiation and flavor. Like maybe you're doing some weird stuff with smoothie sours and all kinds of weird fruit sour flavors or different varieties of things, and you differentiate that way. But even that pie has a limited number of slices that you can cut out of it. It's more about like the experience your brand gives to your audience. If you're not in that area, it's like, well, what do we talk about in our social media feeds? Do we have an email newsletter that goes out? Do we have fun new things that we try to do to engage with our audience and make them a brand of like a brand loyalist through our messaging and who we are? That's where there's room to be had here, and where you're going to earn that loyalty. And then beyond that, growth, because if you're I love this brand person, like, oh, you're going to bring that to your barbecues with your friends. So you got to try this. You're going to make the homage trip out to the brewery because you're like, I've been drinking this beer for forever. I got to go check out this brewery when I'm in Wisconsin or whatever it is. That's where that comes from. But part of it's product, part of it's, hey, who are we and what do we stand for? What are our values? How do we communicate? What is fun about us? And you soak up, loyal fans.
I think also part of the other piece to that for me, at least from a design perspective, is going, having brand hierarchy and making sure that the brand itself is visible in a way that's recognizable, easy to find, because there's a few things that happen, and I've learned this the hard way and had to make adjustments, that, not everybody that stocks the shelves at let's say a beer shop, they don't all take the time to turn the cans the right way. So you may have a wild design and nobody will know what the hell you are because the can may be twisted just a scotch and you don't know. So finding ways to invent the branding hierarchy so that people can see, hopefully you get someone that's sharp enough to position the can properly, but they're not always going to. The other thing is when you get super busy and super crazy, I love that, but I also go, everybody's super crazy. Everybody's super busy. I think for me, one of my favorite designs that I ever got a chance to put together was a white can with very simple, bold color cues and geometric shapes. Instead of a mountain, they were triangular, abstract mountain ranges, because every can has a mountain on it at some point. And then, really, who cares what mountain it is? Is it their mountain, your mountain, whose mountain? But the fact that it was a white can with a very bold color choice as far as the mountain range imagery, but the brewery logo was front and center, top, right? Like almost like a sun rising above the mountain range every single time. So you would walk into a store and in and amongst the wildness, you would always see your brand. Your brand jumped right out at you. And if it wasn't your brand, the idea was to go, maybe you will be drawn to this from 6 feet, 10 feet away to see what is this so different?
The minimalist thing is a differentiation factor in and of itself, especially with an industry that is like so artistic and creative and there's beautiful stuff on cans. It's like, in order for me to stand out, I've got to go the minimalist approach. And that's really cool. Some of the things like you bring up that one, like Frime is another one. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's called Frime. They're minimalist. They're all black cans with like metallic accents, and it's like very simple can. I like that kind of aesthetic appeals to me in general. But like, man, it's totally different than what else is out there. And it stands out.
I love that. Hey, we've got Julie here. She's a new friend of mine. She's the founder at Eco Sticks, and she wants to know how we make eco weird. Well, I'll tell you what, Julie, I got some ideas for you. We'll talk after. I got some ideas about how to make Eco Sticks totally weird, in a very legal and safe way. So, hey, Chris, you had some stuff you wanted to share with us, and I'd love to invite you to take up the screen and share away, man, if you're still up for it.
You guys want to look at
show us some of the work that you got going on here, and let's get into it.
I guess I can show a couple of things, some different weird things that we've done. One of the ones I think is kind of funny that I had a lot of fun doing was let me pull this up. Extracts terp sauce. So we had this idea, and this is, we're not the craziest, in terms of let's see how the heck do I share my screen? There we go. Share screen window. Let's go here. Is you guys can see this terp sauce stuff?
Let me add it to the stage.
There it is.
Yeah, awesome.
So we have this client of ours, the Hop Guild. They do hops. They have growers that do pellets, all kinds of stuff. One of their new products is a extract, and part of what makes this extract special is that it's like very flowable, even at room temperature. So some other extracts, you have to heat them up in order for them to work. It's kind of like a hop replacement liquid. Let me see if I have here's some photos of the product in action, right? But we kind of came up with this idea of like Surfer Chad that is like totally flowable, like radically the language here, like radically concentrated. In fact, we did a podcast radio kind of commercial for this where we did a voice for like Chad, which is like this surfer bro. Totally, bro. It's totally. And like, we love doing it. This was simply an idea. One day I woke up in the morning. I was like, dude, Chad would be perfect for this. So I kind of just threw the idea out to the client. I think I might have texted him and say, hey, we should do this. And he loved it. and we came up with all the wave imagery and the ice and we wanted waves in ice, and this was
right on.
to do on that. But that's a cool example of something we've kind of done that was kind of fun and weird. Some other things we've done, I don't have them pulled up, is we had a client that was doing a 4th of July to go beer sale for their brewery, right? They're not a huge brewery. They're up in New Jersey, down in New Jersey compared to where Jeff is at. Are you up there with him too, Peter, up there in
New Hampshire? Yeah.
New Hampshire, actually. Yeah.
So they're in New Jersey, small brewery. They wanted to do a 4th of July sale. And the owner of the brewery is kind of a fun guy. And I can't have full credit to this idea, but my project manager, Natalie, she was like, what we should do is we should get him to dress up in an Uncle Sam Spirit Halloween-esque outfit and go on and do this commercial that's this old school used car salesman, get in here today and buy these 4-packs to go. And he totally bit onto it. He recorded the video and we put it out. It's one of his best performing videos. They had a line out the door for to-go sales during July 4th weekend. It was their best to-go sale they've ever done. And was it the discount that did really well? No. I mean, there was a bit of a discount for stuff. Was it necessarily the ad placements that we ran? Partially, I think we do a great job at the ad placements, but it was the combination of sale, so timing, price, advertising strategy, and this awesome message that stood out in the feeds was something funky. It was honestly, guys, it's a shitty video. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it was crazy mass produced, but it was funny and relatable, and his audience loved it, and it worked. And stuff like that, I think, plays. You don't have to have crazy marketing budgets to do something fun and weird. You just gotta have fun, I think, is part of that.
I love that you said that, because that's what I've always stressed, and I've always believed, is that $1 billion ideas, you don't need $1 million to come up with $1 million idea.
Right.
You may need $1 million to execute it, but at the same time, you don't. And if you have a clever partner or people you work with on your team that are really clever and curious folks that are willing to take risks, you can make something out of anything. And I was saying this earlier, Chris, is that I'm a big fan of playing stock roulette. So if it's a static image or videos, I like to play a little roulette with it, where I just spin the wheel. I scroll through the whole thing, just rando, and then stop on a video with my eyes closed, open it up. Whatever I got, I'm going to work around it. I'm going to build through it. I'm going to use that as the basis of where we're going. Doesn't always work, but when it does work, people are like, where did you come up with that? And you go, well, it came up with itself.
The universe.
I put an obstruction in my path, and then I found a way to build that obstruction into the path and to make it more interesting. So I think there's so many ways people on a lower budget can do it. And again, we've talked about this in the past, that, I think it's only artists now that treat the word stock imagery as a dirty word. It's not, okay? It can be your best friend. And when mixed properly with real imagery, you can get something really unique and special out of it without
who's driving, just with AI and stuff, AI in and of itself, whether you want to argue for or against the creative end of it, there has to be somebody driving that vehicle and using that tool to take it somewhere. And if you've got a creative person behind the wheel on that, that's what counts, is the human behind the tool. Whether it's stock photography, AI, copywriting, you can write really boring copy and really fun copy with a difference of just a couple of words or a couple of nuances in the language. And that's what it takes
that's right.
Driver, right?
I think before we get to the final bits and pieces, because I want you to tell everybody, where to find you, how to connect with you, obviously through LinkedIn. It's a good thing to do, the right way to do it. A couple of quick questions for you to figure out exactly what's going on up inside that dome piece of yours.
Not much these days, no.
Well, hey, if you had to get up every day and start your day listening to the Captain and Tennille double live album every single day for the rest of your life, or wear jorts in public every day for the rest of your life, which one would you choose?
I don't know what the first thing is you referenced is. So I'm gonna go with jorts, I guess.
Okay. I
Let's
would go with
with
the
a safe
George in
bet.
this case. Captain and Tennille, I was going to say, maybe it would help you with this choice. You have to either listen to the Kiss Alive double album every single day, front to back,
Mm.
or wear the jorts out in public at every single event, every single thing, every time you leave the house. You got to do it in some high cut Daisy Duke jorts.
We're going with the Kiss Alive album. We'll get some thunder and bass and drums every morning
Yes.
until I go insane. At least that's an internal and personal craziness. I don't have to
Sure.
publicly show my love for jorts everywhere.
Okay. Okay. Jeff, did you want to ask anything? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I got a few.
No, I don't want to ask anything.
You didn't want to ask anything?
No, Chris, if you had to eat for 1 week, you had to eat only one color food. What color would that be?
Oh man. I would say probably white colored food.
Ooh.
Okay.
We got rice, we got vegetables that are white. All the best sauces for your food are white.
His glasses are white.
Weirdo.
My glasses are white.
I see where he's going.
I think it's a pretty
Glasses.
safe color to pick. If you go some of these other colors, you'd be like, oh man, I gotta eat maybe bananas or yellow. That's my favorite fruit.
Okay.
But then you got to eat other stuff besides
There is a white eggplant, by the way. Just so you
Here
know.
we go. See, there is. You're right. There's white pumpkin.
Is there, in your opinion, is there any fruit that you can think of that would be kind of considered the loser of fruits, like the fruit that everyone's kind of like, ugh? It's a common. I don't mean like a rando exotic fruit. I mean like, the fruits you would find in the grocery store, and you go like, ugh. Everyone buys them, but nobody ever eats them.
I think melons, dude. Like they're like always put in like the fruit cocktail mix at like restaurants or breakfast spots. Especially, I'm like, these melons are not that good, guys. We don't need melons everywhere. Give me strawberries, bananas, oranges. Over melons.
I was going to say persimmon.
Oh, persimmon? Oh, boy. Jeff, I was going to say, for me, the losers of fruit are grapes. I always feel like grapes are just like
sugar bombs.
Loser.
Have you ever frozen grapes?
I have.
That's the way.
And that is actually, that does make a little bit cooler of the grape. If you will, frozen grapes become cooler.
Goodness.
Okay.
They are cooler.
So Chris Overlay, if you could send one text message out on every cell phone in the world without any, additional fees or data charges, what would the message be that everyone on the planet got at the very same time from Chris Overlay? What would that message be?
Oh man, I'd probably say something like, do something good today. Do something good. Maybe not you're awesome, because if it goes out to like all the really bad people, you've reinforced bad behavior. But do something good today is inspiration for everyone. Do something good.
Jeff, do you have an answer for that?
Oh, what my text would be?
Yeah, what would your text be?
My text would be go forth and prosper.
Nice. I was going to say, you know what I would say? Wait, ...
Ominous. Someone's getting ready to propose to their love of their life. Like, wait. What?
Awesome. So tell us where to find you, what everybody needs to know about, what's your home address, which direction your bed is facing, that sort of stuff.
We are a east to west. No. We are a south to north facing.
Okay, your feet are not facing the door, right?
No.
Good.
We are
right?
South to north. Our house is east to west, so we're cross section there. But you can find me on LinkedIn, Chris Overlay. The agency is gethoptimized.com. It's like optimized but with an H, like hops, like beer. Get it? Gethoptimized.com. We got a podcast. We have email newsletter. If you need help on the marketing side, when it comes to ads or email, SEO, web, we can certainly help out with that. Even if it isn't craft beer, we always love talking to folks and helping out. But especially if you're doing beer or alcohol or canned beverages, bottled beverages, we can certainly help on that front. We're always down to help, so don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions. Consultations are always free, and I want to help people. So I'm happy to at least answer your questions, and even if it's not with us, I'll send you on the right way to find what you need. because I want you to succeed and grow your businesses and employ your people and feed your family and all those things. So reach out anytime, man. Totally down to
Awesome.
talk.
I love it. I want to thank everybody for coming on in today, and I love that. We don't have a giveaway today, but we will next time. I was going to give away, and Jeff talked me out of it. I have an empty bottle of omega-3 fish oil capsules on my desk.
You can smell
Recycle,
it.
reuse, dude. There's your weird tie-in to the eco.
Yeah.
Giveaway.
Yeah, don't do that. So, hey, what the hell? Love it. Thanks for coming on today, Chris.
Yes,
and
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciated.
Jeff and I are from Brandartica, in case you didn't realize it. And we do our newsletter, we're the Dogs of Society Howl, and we do our this show in particular as well, our LinkedIn Live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And before we go, I have one last final incredibly important thing for everybody that's in the audience right now listening. Okay, so listen up. Okay, this is important. Get your pen and paper. I'll wait. All right,
Drum roll.
ready? Drum roll.
I don't know if you can hear that through my mic. Probably not.
I did hear it.